What fictional character do you feel bad for the most? Any character that loses their glasses. Then while they are crawling on the ground looking for them, the glasses get broken. I have no idea why, but that moment always makes me feel worse than most other things. Piggy from The Lord of the Flies, except they fell off a cliff. Alexei, the dude just wanted to watch his Looney Tunes and drink his slushies. Alexei from Stranger Things 3, he was too innocent to die. Saddest part of the show for me. Well, except seeing Eleven's Monsieur, we all knew 11 was coming back, and let's be honest here. All of us knew Hopper didn't die. Oberyn Martell getting his eyes popped out. Poor guy. Shinji from Evangelion. Dude just wanted to get ice cream with his dad. Even just once. But no. Daddy's gotta stick a 12-year-old mentally unstable boy into the body cavity of a monster and expect him to perform like a seasoned Marine, Delta, Barrett, etc. I feel bad for basically all characters on Evangelion since they are mentally unstable. Poor Butter's too pure for this world. John Wick. Dude just wanted to chill and be married and have a dog. Everyone that had to support that freeloading piece of shit Grandpa Joe. Obvious spoilers for Harry Potter. Remus Lupin. Dude is a werewolf and can't get a job. So he then becomes a professor but gets outed. Has no job, so he has to be an agent for a werewolf gang. Not to mention that transitioning to a werewolf is painful. Plus he straight up fucking dies and doesn't see his son grow up. Don't forget he has to infiltrate that werewolf gang that follows the very werewolf that attacked him as a child. Woodhouse the butler from Archer. Treated like shit throughout the whole series by pretty much everyone. Missed out on his last chance to see his brother because of his asshole boss. Reduced to living in an empty pool. Used as an online prostitute. Then died off-screen, a penniless and unloved heroin addict. I need you to go buy sand. I don't know if they grade it, but course. Thor. You gotta imagine this guy led a pretty easy life for 1,500 years. Then in the course of 15 years, he loses his dad, mom, brother, sister, best friends, all of them, his hammer and his kingdom, twice. Being alive for so long, those 15 years probably felt like 5 minutes. I loved his character in Endgame. Doofenshmirtz. His parents didn't show up to his birth. That's a big F. Barbara Holland, Stranger Things Season 1. She was that first victim, monsieur. Gatsby. Gatsby turned out all right at the end. It is what preyed on Gatsby. What foul dust floated in the wake of his dreams that temporarily closed out my interest in the abortive sorrows and short-winded elations of men. Username does not check out. Eponine from Les Miserables. Unappreciated ride-or-die who gets ignored for some spoiled girl singing about living in a castle on a cloud. Yes, I know the narrative timeline doesn't fit the timing of the song for the point I'm making. I always feel for Eponine, but Fontaine is the tragedy of that story. Aunt Cass in Big Hero 6. Most of the metas of the week on Flash. Betty Sansusi, Griffin Grey, Becky Sharp, Weber. Something that's always grinded my gears is how Hades is portrayed in books and movies. The only thing he's guilty of is doing his goddamn job. He only complained once when Asclepius was bringing the dead back to life. He was a chill-ass uncle to Heracles. Lent him his dog, and he was pretty fair to Orpheus. Only bad thing he did was conspire with Zeus to get Persephone. And even still he lets her go most of the year. Maeve Wiley from Sex Education. Her entire family abandoned her as a little kid and has had to rely on herself in order to survive ever since. Greater than. Even after her mother returns but is still on drugs, she sacrifices losing her family again so that her half-sister can be safe. Only this time she's lost her mother for good. Less than. Azula from Atla. Yes. It really mahays me tear up when she destroyed the mirror and went crazy because he couldn't believe her own mothers could love her. Jack Marston from the Red Dead Redemption game Sires. He never got to live a good life and became a killer just like his dad. Well, that's not true. Jack got to live a decent life to a point, but he was sadly forced to go back into doing the same things like his dad. Yeah, it was just sad because Arthur and John tried their best not to let Jack become what they were. But I hope that the Easter egg in GTA 5 is right and that Jack Marston wrote a book called Red Dead. And I hope that the next Red Dead game will explain why he called his book Sire's Red Dead, which can probably mean that Jack meets Red and in the game it turns into a teacher-student relationship. Okay, so I never seen Avatar: The Last Airbender as a kid. I just finished this show a couple days ago. I really fell for Uncle Iroh and Zuko. Like holy hell, Zuko had such a good redemption and his character just gets better as the show goes on. Poor Uncle Iroh is just so wholesome it hurts and never loses that. Even with all the shit he has been put through. Glad I got around to watching this. Literally every camper from the Percy Jackson series. They always gotta clean up after their parents and have to fight in wars and go on quests. Not to mention how they always gotta be careful about monsters attacking them. Monsieur. If Zeus and Poseidon just kept it in their pants, they could have avoided so many wars. Seriously. They almost ended the world all because they wanted to have sex with mortals. Darth Maul. If you watched Clone Wars you'll know. He lost everything and everyone he loved and was blinded by a need for revenge after his master betrayed him. Jesus died twice, abandoned by his father, betrayed by his best friend and born in a shed. I don't know why, and born in a shed as an ending made me laugh. Magneto. Magneto in First Class has so many amazing lines. I am Frankenstein's monster and I am looking for my creator. I have been at the mercy of men following orders, never again. Squidward. Everyone hates him but I felt bad for him. You hate him as a kid and then you are him as an adult. Sansa Stark. Got her comeuppance, of course, and ended up in a pretty great spot. But the girl was subjected to years of manipulation, abuse, rape threats, actual rape, being used as a pawn, and underestimation by nearly everyone in her life, only to have 80% of the fanbase absolutely detest her for something she was manipulated into doing. As a naive 13-year-old, fans always compared her to Arya, as if she had committed a crime by being inclined to more feminine pursuits. At the end, when they were deciding who should rule the Seven Kingdoms, it was clear which person there had the most political experience and knowledge. Yet they choose her little brother. Agreed. The premise: girl turns into killing machine and goes on a rampage. AKA Arya, is cool but very much fiction to me. But girl turns into a socially smart and mastered the public opinion to get what she wants since she isn't going to win a direct swords fight, which is way more believable. It's way better and isn't as far as appreciated. Powerful women in history usually didn't do the fighting, but they were smart as hell and took risks as few, and against all odds they prevailed. That's Sansa. Nina from Full Metal Alchemist Episode 2, I believe. Father of the Year award goes to anyone other than Shao Tucker. I don't remember what his name was, but I do remember that he was born with glass bones and paper skin. Every morning he'd break his legs, and every afternoon he'd break his arms. At night, he would lie awake until his heart attacks put him to sleep. Who here didn't shed a tear when he fell down those stairs? I think it was Mr. Glass. Probably Captain Rex. He spent 3 years fighting for the wrong side without even knowing until it was too late. Then all his brothers turned on him, and his one friend through it all was Ahsoka, who he had to say goodbye to. Not knowing Anakin or Obi-Wan's fate, but knowing that all of his clone friends had turned evil, or died. I had to read Flowers for Algernon for LA class. I feel really bad for Charlie. Killmonger, my man, was brought up horribly. Agreed. That's part of what made BP so good to me. Most relatable villain in the MCU. He hates the way black people have been treated. Now obviously his solution is beyond fucked up. but I can empathize with Hi Monsieur. I almost wanted him to win. He had a clear motive and reasoning and was actually doing the right thing. Just in the wrong way. Jake from State Farm. She sounds hideous. Jesse Pinkman. Has no one mentioned the Giving Tree? Yes. God, what a sad story every time. Maximus Decimus Meridius. But he got his revenge, in this life _and _ the next. Commander of the Armies of the North. Nebula. MCU. Kidnapped as a child and Stockholmed by the Mad Titan who also murdered everyone she had ever loved. Then, forced to continuously fight her sister, who she just wants to love. Instead, her sister kicks her ass over and over again. The result being she is tortured for her failure, and then another piece of her body is brutally removed and replaced with cybernetics. She just wanted a sister. Her life now is two different dichotomies existing simultaneously. A sister she wants to love and yet must defeat. And a father she desperately wants the approval of, yet she would do anything to kill Hi Monsieur. She spends her life imprisoned by her own emotions, or literally imprisoned by outside sources. She finally connects with her sister amidst the most desperate time of the universe, only to then accidentally bring about the scenario where she must now murder her own damn self. The protagonist of I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. A short story where the objective of the characters is to kill themselves to be free of the torment of a supercomputer. Steven Universe. Dude couldn't catch a break from the moment he was 13. Kept being a therapist for everyone, and he finally snapped when he was 16. I kinda wanna give him a hug, but he has had enough crises for several lifetimes, so I probably won't break it to him that he is a TV show. Caesar and Kakyoin did not deserve it. Neither did Abashio or Narantia. Goob from Meet the Robinsons. Maggie from TWD. She lost her entire family, and when she was finally at a good point, was pregnant and with a loving husband. Her husband was then murdered brutally in front of her with a bat with barbed wire wrapped around it. She's had so much trauma and is so strong. That was my exit point from the show. People don't seem to remember him too much. But Michael Dawson, Walt's dad, from Lost, is pure tragedy. The dude wasn't the best dad to his son. I'll give him that. But then he goes through a brutal divorce. His ex-wife wins custody of his son on the opposite side of the world. And his career starts to fail miserably. If that wasn't enough, his ex-wife gets diagnosed with terminal cancer, and his ex-wife's new partner bolts, leaving him with the son he never knew. If that wasn't enough, our dude crashes on a mysterious tropical island with his son, who resents him, and is forced to fend for his life against all manner of weirdness. He repairs his relationship with his son, but then when they try to escape, his son gets kidnapped by the mysterious natives living on the island, and their boat blows up. Our guy starts working as a spy for these people, just so he has a chance to see his son again, and ends up accidentally killing two of his friends and is forced to flee. He did a good job as a spy for the others, so they finally let him and his son off the island. Unfortunately, he loses custody of his son again, and falls into a deep depression. Michael then tries to kill himself, multiple times, but fails every time. He's then told that he has to go back to the island for one last job, even though he was promised that the deal was finished. So he goes back, and he blows up the fucking tanker, ruining everyone's chances of rescue. And he never even gets to see his son again. If that wasn't bad enough, my guy doesn't even get to move on to the afterlife with everyone else. He's stuck as a Force ghost on the island, whispering into people's ears like a weirdo. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good day.